Yeah. So again, my understanding of glorifying Christ is doctrine and actions pointing people to Jesus, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so in my arguments, there were things that Saiko did that, in my opinion, kind of highlighted that the heart of it might not have been pointing to Jesus. I'll give a perfect example. When I came on and said, "Hey, I think this is too much," in the comments, told me that Corey was my idol, and I don't even. I'm not even. Um, I'm not. I don't. I don't give money to Corey. I'm not a hardcore follower. I watch a few of his videos. I think it's cool, and but yet he called me an idol. Like I worship Corey. That highlights to me that we're not that the heart of this is in Christ. And then I was adding the elongated videos, calling parole officers. I think, okay, is
I asked you about what standard. But I asked you about what standard are you making that assertion that that's too much?
That's what I said it was, because things that you're doing at the heart of it kind of seems like you're not. The heart of this is not Christ, because again, like I said,
I'm asking you said at the heart, so that there's a motive, right?
Yeah. So like I just said, when I came on there and said I think this is too much, you commented Corey was my idol. You made that you said that. You said
yes,
Corey is my
idol. On that.
Which means,
by you defending him. By you defending him.
Yeah, which means that you're saying that I have placed Corey above Christ.
Above the standard of God's word.
You say I have placed Corey above Christ, meaning I worship at the altar of Corey Minor.
You're defending him, and in light of truthful evidence, you're defending him and saying that I'm sinning by exposing him.
If I disagree with you, it does not mean that this person is an idol.
But if you're if you are refusing to see the truth, and you're defending him, then that makes the person an idol. That's a form of idolatry. But we can discuss that in a minute, because Corey's on here right now. So Corey, I have some questions. I have some questions to ask you, Corey. You're here now finally. The money.
Can I ask you a question first? Can I ask you a question first?
Go ahead.
What precluded you from calling me in the first place?
What precluded me from calling you? Based on what me calling you when? Calling you when?
Whenever you had an issue, because you talk about other folks having loyalty with you. Bring up April Chapman not being
right.
You talk all those things. What precluded you from?
I wasn't obligated. I wasn't obligated to call you for a public statement that you made. Just like you're not obligated to call me for a public statement that I made.
Okay, but you had an issue with my past. You didn't think that, let me call and see what's going on.
No. Just like no, I didn't. No. The issue I had with what you said was that you lied about your past.
What did I lie about?
You lied. First of all, you lied about the mail fraud.
That's the first thing you lied about. Hold
on. I'm explaining to you. No. This is Corey. No, you ain't doing this. Corey, no. Hold on, Corey. You lied about the mail fraud. Okay. You didn't say anything about the 62 plus victims that you stole money from. You had viewers on this channel believing that you were railroaded by the justice system. You lied about your pastor. You lied about your pastor, saying that your pastor threw you under the bus. That's what you lied about. But all this precipitated, Corey, because you were defending John MacArthur. Okay, and you used your prison story. You used your prison story as a cover and as an excuse to say that people were coming against you like they were coming against John MacArthur. That's what set all this in motion. Go ahead.
I don't have a problem answering your question. Never did. But let's go one at a time. Okay? Because what you do is like this brother Alex. I've never met Alex before. But what you do is you have people to come on to try to defend me as if they've researched me. And they can't do that. And nor should they. But let's go. So what's your first question? You said a lot about my testimony?
Yeah, you lied about it.
How so? I said that if we go back to the deal, I said that before I even told you it was mail fraud. By the way, let's just be clear. You're gonna deny it, but before God and angels and you, I told you about my charge before I told the
world about my charge. I knew nothing about the victims that you stole money from, Corey.
Do you let me finish? Or
go ahead. Go ahead.
If you're gonna ask me on, it's your show. You can mute me. You can kick me off.
I'm not gonna mute you. You finally here.
All right. I told you about my charge before. If you go back and watch the video, you were the first person to mention.
Right here, let's go to the video. Right here.
No. I don't have 6 hours to do on that.
No, we ain't got 6 hours. No, let's go to the video. I already got it queued up for you.
Finish what I'm saying.
Go ahead. Finish.
Here's the problem. You want to interrupt. I'm not.
Go ahead, Corey. I said, go ahead, bro. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
I told you about my charge, which is when we had that first conversation. I believe you introduced the word mail fraud before I told the audience. I said, and then when I said it was mail fraud, I said how I was going about doing what happened, and you said, I said yes, it was mail fraud. Now you said I lied about it. It was mail fraud. I didn't lie about that. You wanted more details. You said, I guess you felt like I should have said 64 victims. Do you have the paper in front of you? Do you have the sentencing transcript?
I have the actual video where you said it.
What was the number? Let me ask you a question. What was the number of victims the final number of victims?
At least 64.
Now you're wrong. Go look at the paper and it says
at least 64. At least 64 victims.
So
at least 64 victims.
Here's where you're wrong.
But I'm about to pull up the video. The video's right here. I already got it queued up for you. Already ready for you.
What we're not going to do is I'm not giving.
No. You already here, Corey. You already here. Don't run.
No, I'm not trying to run, Saiko. I'm trying to be productive. Listen,
okay, so let me play the video so that way you won't be misquoted by what you say I didn't say.
Saiko, I'm not trying to be for 6 hours. You can do
Corey, this ain't gonna be 6 hours. This is about 3-4 minutes. You got that much time to just stand by.
Can this be the last video then? Can this be the last video?
I'm sorry? No, it can be as I want it to be. This is my channel, Corey. This is my channel.
Okay.
Thank you. So now, this is the video here.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go.
I know for some reason. It's like God started touching everything with the business. The business was doing well. At one point in time, it was I think the second largest black-owned investment firm in Dallas, and growing. We were getting ready to start going to other cities and other states. Well, other things just started happening. The vice president of the company, his wife has some sort of respiratory ailment where they have to leave the state of Texas to Arizona, Nevada, where the air is a little bit easier for her to breathe. The person's over our mortgage department. He leaves and starts another firm. The guy over insurance leaves. The person that's managing the office did not realize how important she was, but she leaves. The operation manager is gone. And so it's like this after this, after this, after this, on top of this sin.
Yeah.
And so things started going down. So what did I do? I took money out of Saiko's account, used it to cover overhead for the business. And when fees or commissions came back in, give it back to Saiko, right? I'm thinking in my mind, no harm, no foul. Anybody that's ever wanted their money, they'll get it back. So, however, you're not supposed to do that.
Okay.
Rounds on that.
Okay.
And in the meantime, even though in between, let's say January and April, I had Saiko's money, but I gave him a statement.
Mm-hmm.
The statement, if you mail the statement, what is that? If it's a fraudulent statement, it is mail fraud. I won't go into the little legal dynamics that occurred in this that I thought that would show that I'm not guilty of the charge, but I'm not an innocent person, so I can't complain on that regard. God is going to do what he's going to do. He's going to discipline. Now, I'm also, at this moment, in one of the associate pastors at a church. And so I know better. And God is not going to deal with me the same way he's going to deal with anyone else. That ain't going to happen. You're not going to sit and play around with me and my name and make me and my name look bad. I'm going to deal with you. But mainly because I love you, I'm going to knock you down and I'm going to build you back up. Because what should have been a 1 year, 2, 3 year sentence at max, I'm told that, Corey, you're looking at 1, 2, maybe 3 years. At the most, maybe 4 or 5, but you got a real good shot of getting probation. Okay, cool. What did the judge tell me? He told me 240 months. That's 20 years, y'all. That ain't 3, 4, 5 years. And
for one time offense?
Yeah, first offense.
And what was the charge? Mail fraud? What was it?
Mail fraud. 1 count of mail fraud. And oh, by the way, I pled guilty. Who gets the maximum sentence? The maximum sentence for the 1 count was 20 years. Who gets a maximum sentence for pleading guilty? You plead guilty because you're making it easy for the prosecution, and so in exchange you get a lighter sentence. That's the whole point of it. I could have went to trial, and at the end of the trial, got up and cussed the judge out and everybody else, and still got no more time than they gave me on a plea. Who gets that? Me.
Wow.
Well, part of it had to do with this attorney that I had. I found out 15 minutes before, literally 15 minutes before sentencing, that it was her first federal case. She lied to me. She told me I've been doing this before. Her first federal case. She never asked for the evidence. None of that stuff.
What?
Well, and I won't go into all the particulars.
Yeah. Wow, bro.
There was a so-called friend of mine who he was worried that the government was going to come after him, and he got up and started telling lies, and I did this and did that, and so they can throw in these different enhancements. Well, moving past the whole legal issue, one of the people that actually got up and spoke, who came for my as a character witness for me, was a former pastor. The former pastor, after hearing what the government had to say, decided that the best thing, this was his testimony before the judge. Now he's testifying on my behalf for leniency, but he tells the judge, I think the best thing for Corey is for you to give him the maximum sentence the law allows. So
who said that too? Who said that?
I won't say his name.
I mean, another name, but was this
a former pastor? A former pastor.
Wow.
And wow. I didn't have time to be angry. I was shocked and disappointed at the moment. Like, what? What?
Wow, bro.
Now, it takes me a few days for the shock to wear off. 20 years. Whoa, wait a second. I'm not 20 years.
How old were you when this occurred? I'm gonna stop right there. Let's go back to where you are, Corey. Where'd he go? Hold on.
Right here.
Hold on. I'm sorry. Hold on. There we go. All right. So, did you see the reaction that I had? Did you see the reaction of the people in the chat? That was the only interview that you and I had, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So, what did I lie about?
Can I ask you a question? Who mentioned mail fraud first? Me or you?
You said I repeated. I said, what was it for? Mail fraud?
No. You literally said mail fraud before I
exactly. Said it. What's your point? Whether I said it first or not, what's your point?
Okay, Saiko, take it down a little bit. I'm trying to be cordial and respond with you. My point is that you knew about it, which meant you lied when you told people you never knew.
I knew nothing about the 64 plus victims that you stole money from, Corey. I knew nothing about the amount. I knew nothing about $2,874,469.63 that you stole from at least 64 victims, Corey.
Okay, so here's my point. Here's the point that I'm trying to make. First of all, it's not a lie if I don't go into every single detail. You might think it's pertinent. The only reason why you think it's pertinent because you didn't think it was pertinent then to ask them.
No, I didn't. I didn't know that was as much serious of a crime. You made it light. You made the mail fraud situation light. That you just put a letter in the mail and that was it. You didn't say.
I told you. I told you what I was doing. I didn't tell you how many times, to who, Corey. To what degree. Wait a second. Because like everyone else, like you've never given your full story of your testimony, nor has really anyone even asked about it. So I told about your testimony, Saiko.
What about my testimony?
Saiko, you gotta let me finish.
You mentioned my testimony. I'm just responding to what you said, but go ahead.
Listen to what I said. Then your testimony. Okay. The point is, no one's asked you about all the details. No one said, "Well, Saiko, you lied because you didn't give all the details." I told you that I took money, how I did it. I said I went through the scheme of it. I said I wouldn't go through all of the intricacies because you were doing an interview about something else, and so why spend 3-4 hours? Because every time I tell someone about the charge, and every time I tell somebody about what was happening, because the first thing I'll say, well, it was mail fraud. And they said, well, how do you get that much? And how's that? And I got to go through all this line for all the different things or whatever. And so therefore I gave you what I thought I needed to tell you. If you felt like that was lying, I don't know why that was lying, because I told you I stole money. I told you how the scheme was being done, and the charge was mail fraud. Correct. So where was the lie? I said earlier,
the lie is that you omitted critical information, i.e., you lied on your pastor, who's now deceased, Pastor Willie.
How did I lie on him?
You say he threw you under the bus. The man sat. Hold on. No, Corey. No. It is a lie. You're lying. The man sat there and heard those victims. You said it on the video. Did you not hear what you just said?
I said he threw me under the bus.
Yeah, you said it on the video. You didn't hear that?
No, I didn't.
Let me read the transcript. You want to play the video back for you again?
Hey, Saiko, before you go there, hold on, stop. I think Corey, what I think I may have been the blame to this.
Why?
Because the way it happened is when we heard your story and you said how you went from your one particular firm and then you ventured out on your own, we all thought that it was a technicality of mailing. It's like robbing Peter to pay Paul. I take this money, put it in that account, when the funds come in, I put it back. That's what we were thinking. So immediately with me, I don't know if I told you, but I said before, you know what, one of the things that you could probably do now is teach people how to invest. So I'm like, I go online, I look at some investment stuff, I type in Corey Minor, and this is where I see the stuff in regards to what happened and how you could never do that practice again. And then I said, Saiko, this wasn't just an oops. It wasn't American Express. But let me finish my point real quick.
Hold on, no, because guys, I'm not trying to be mean. I really am not, and I'm trying to give you what you've been looking for. I just got through working out. Here's my gloves, my water. I just got through working out. So you know what? And in X call, I saw this was on. I saw the end part of it, and so I'm sitting there looking. I was in the kitchen. My wife said the phone's calling, and she and so she was listening. She said. And I appreciate the fact that you picked up. Hold on. Let me finish. At no point did I say he threw me underneath the bus. So apologize for lying and putting that out there, because people keep saying you threw your past. I know I didn't. First of all, I said, and I've gone and said that what he said, I was the reason why he said it. Now he did come back and apologize, but I'm not. I said that I was guilty. I'm not an innocent person, and that what I got, I deserve. As a matter of fact, I go on to say that I deserve to be there. Those are my kind of people. That's where the Lord had me to be at. So I didn't throw him underneath the bus. I didn't throw my attorney underneath the bus, although she was guilty of ineffective assistance counsel. She had never, ever asked for evidence or understood the statute.
Did you agree? Did you agree to the counsel that you had, Corey?
Everybody that files ineffective counsel, has to plead guilty first. You know why, Saiko? You know why people file ineffective assistance counsel even after pleading guilty? It's because you don't know the law. I don't know the law. I had no idea. She told me, hey, sounds like you're guilty. And I knew I was guilty of something. So go ahead and plead guilty and then just move on. Okay. And so I filed ineffective assistance counsel for a good reason. She never actually looked at the evidence or anything. So that's not wrong. As a matter of fact, I know you put up a clip earlier of Tarwin's tag. I don't know if he's still in the deal, but ask Tarwin how I explained to him. Does he agree that was ineffective counsel? Ask him. Pleading guilty doesn't mean that you're always guilty of the particular charge. It's like jaywalking.
Hold it, Corey.
No, let me make my point.
Were you guilty of defrauding these victims? Yes or no?
Sure.
Okay. Did you pay them back yet?
No, I did not.
You lied and said you did.
I will not.
You lied and said that you did, Corey.
When?
Let me play videos then. Let me play videos for you. Because apparently
you're gonna play that clip from Walter Jones, but if you let
no, I'm gonna play everything you said.
No,
Corey.
Saiko, listen. Listen,
Corey,
Saiko.
Are you paying the victims right now?
Saiko, let me just say
yes
this
or no.
again.
Are you paying the victims right now?
I am paying right now.
You paying the victims right now?
Mm-hmm. You know what? That's the last thing someone asked me. That's what I said, right?
You said you're not. No, you said you're not paying them. You said you're not paying them, Corey.
When I said
you're not paying them.
I said that I am paying. I said there's a reason why.
No, you said you're not paying them. Matter of fact, here it is right here.
Have you paid the $2.8 million? How are you still qualified to be a pastor? I'll never be your pastor. Kick rocks. I'm lying about what? Have I personally out of my pocket paid? Nope, can't, never will. Have I personally out of my pocket paid? Nope, can't, never will. Won't be.
That's
okay,
you.
I never will be able to pay $2.8 million.
You said you're not paying them back.
I said I never will be able to pay $2.8 million.
And then you said you did pay them back. Then you said you did pay them back.
Okay, let's
so
see.
Which one is it, Corey? Which one is it? That's all I'm asking.
How about you ask me a question? How about you do this? How about you ask me a question and let me answer it? How about you let me answer the question and not try to put strings on this? I know first of all, I know my story better than you.
Well, you probably don't know how many times you're lying about it.
Okay, see, you called what you thought was my PO, which it was. I don't know who that was you called. You can't call the federal probation officer.
Hey, Corey, did they lie? Did they lie about what you said? Did they lie about what you owe? Did they lie?
Did
they lie about what you owe? Did they lie?
Yeah, they did.
They did. So you have paid.
Call probation. Did you call probation? Did you call probation?
I called. I called the number.
And what did they tell you? What did they tell you?
You heard the recording. You heard they said you still owe money.
I know. They didn't even know who I was because you didn't call them. You called somebody else.
I called the probation office. And here's the question.
Which probation office?
Do you still owe the money? You said you didn't owe.
Psycho, here's the problem.
Corey, you're deflecting, Corey. You're good at deflecting, but you're not good here. You're not good here, Corey. I'm just asking you, do you still owe these victims money? Do you still owe these victims money, Corey? Now you're here. Tell the people, show the receipts that you owe, that you paid the money. Show them.
Psycho, listen, quit trying to bash me.
I'm not bashing you, brother. I'm just asking you a question.
Let me answer my question.
Produce the receipts.
You told the people that you called my PO, which you didn't. That was a lie. You did not. If so, matter of fact, put a number up. Put the number up.
Put the number up.
You lied.
No. You deflecting, Corey. You deflecting.
The reason why
Corey, you deflecting. I call whoever has your PO information. That's what I call.
The reason why this is pertinent is because you tried to create a particular narrative.
Corey,
these people don't.
I didn't lie, Corey.
Corey, I didn't lie. Can I finish? Okay.
You're trying to deflect.
Hold on.
I'm trying to answer.
I'm
trying to answer.
Hey, Corey,
and then you keep going. You won't let me answer. You want me to answer the way you want me to answer.
Hey, Corey. So let me ask you a question. So, are you saying that you have to connect or call the right parole officer, or does it work differently?
You can't call just any. First of all, I don't think he called a federal parole officer. Because if he did,
so how did I get the information? How did I get the information?
Wait a second.
Hold on a second. Go ahead, bro.
Because if you call a federal probation, not the court, the federal probation officer, they don't talk to you. He wouldn't have known who it was at that time. He couldn't have known who it was at that time. They don't even listen.
Corey? How did I get
and so, like I said, we can. All you got to do is put the number on the screen, and I can show you what the person's number. I'll put the card up.
How about you put the number of the people that you paid back? No. How about that?
So, you can't keep interrupting me. You can't keep interrupting me.
You're talking, dude.
So you're keep interrupting me. I say something, and then you want to interrupt me. I can't. The only thing that you want to hear me say is what you want me to say.
Go ahead, Corey.
Okay, hold on, Corey. So what you're saying is that if someone calls in with your docket information or anything, that you're not in the system far as paying an amount, so it works totally different.
A person can call the court. They can call the federal court and get whatever information that is available per the court. They cannot call the probation officer. The probation officer is not at liberty to discuss that with anybody. Period.
Okay.
Hold on. Their numbers not even listen. Saiko framed as though he called my PO. They didn't even know. When you go to probation, there's a couple things you got to do. You have to fill out a report, a form. They're going to scour to see if there's any bank accounts or any information with your social, your wife's social, things like that. So you can't hide money. You can't. That doesn't go out. That doesn't fly. So to act as though that I got all this money and that I'm hiding it and they don't know and yada yada yada, that's a lie. Also, they know everything about what I'm doing or knew everything about what I was doing.
So they lied about you not owing. I'm just asking.
You didn't call them. That's the point. You didn't call them.
Okay, I'm asking Corey. I'm asking.
I'm telling you.
So the
they didn't lie.
How you framed it?
Hold on. How you framed it is that they lied. You didn't call them.
I'm not saying they lied. You're saying they lied. I ain't saying they lied.
I didn't say Saiko. You didn't call them. So nobody at probation lied to you.
I spoke to somebody at the parole office that had your information.
The person that you talked to, I don't know if it was a state office or what.
Okay. Do they have access to your information? Whoever I spoke to. I don't care if it was how?
Saiko, the lady that you called, or the man, I don't know who it was. The person that you called.
It was a lady. Mm-hmm.
Did they know me? Did they know my case?
No, they know your case personally. No, they knew
when they pulled up your information. Why did you tell everybody you talked to my PO?
Because that's what I thought.
No. What you thought and what you said, two different things. You said that you did, and his own PO didn't know.
If I didn't speak to your PO, I apologize about that. Did I lie about you owing the money, Corey?
Got him. We got him.
You didn't tell him what I owed. You just said this guy got all these accounts out there.
$874,469.62, Corey. You said that you paid them back, Corey. Let's stick to the lie that you have told. You said you paid these people back. Have you paid them back?
The problem is you're trying to tell my story.
Corey, all I'm asking is a simple question. Everybody else wants to know.
No, you're not. You're asking questions. Have you
paid the victims back the money that you said you owed?
I have not, nor will I ever be able to pay. I can't pay.
But you said that you did, Corey.
Here's what I said. And on the Sir Walter, when Sir Walter Jones was on, I said I did, and then went to explain what I meant. Slip of the tongue, what have you. Hold on.
A fake document.
Okay. You said it was a fake document.
Yeah, it was. It was a settlement document. It was a settlement.
Okay, let me ask you a question.
It's settled with the banks. They ain't settled with you.
It's Tarwin. Matter of fact, you know what? Wait a second. You got a lot of people in the chat that have researched me and looked things up. Ask them, just type this in. Does the Fifth Circuit allow a restitution victim, to receive a double payment after a civil settlement? Tell them, look it up.
Yours is criminal. Don't play. Yours is criminal. Yours is criminal, sir. You still owe that money.
Right.
Yours is criminal. Yours ain't civil.
Hold on, here's the question. If you be quiet, you'll learn it. If you be quiet, you'll learn for just 1 second, Saiko. If you be quiet, you'll learn a second. You don't know my case. You need to be quiet
because you ain't gaslighting nobody over here, bro.
Saiko, do you know my case? I'm asking, do you know my case?
I read it.
Do you know the law?
I read it.
Do you know the law?
Do you? Are you a lawyer? Are you a lawyer? You a lawyer?
I know my case. Do you know what the Fifth?
I know how to read.
Do you know what the Fifth Circuit? Okay, so what has the Fifth Circuit said about double payment to people on?
I haven't researched that. I don't have to research that. I know that you owe criminal restitution. So you're talking about that civil suit and got nothing to do with this, right?
Here's how it works. Alex, I'll tell you. Saiko's not trying to listen to me. Here's how it works.
No, I'm not trying to listen to you lie.
Here's how it works. And somebody can go look it up. They can do it right now. In the Fifth Circuit, if there is a federal criminal restitution order, and thereafter is a civil settlement, the Fifth Circuit does not allow for a double payment. Look it up. Ask Tarwin. Look it up. And so if there is a settlement to victim A, B, C, or D, then that money, that civil settlement is the federal restitution is offset by the civil settlement. Now, you don't know that. I don't think you care to know that. But that's the facts. Ask Tarwin. Is he still in the chat? I don't know if he is not. Ask someone to look it up. Type up what I just typed in.
Corey,
Hold on. Put it in chat GPT, because his whole premise is that these folks haven't been paid back. Corey,
a victim in the Fifth Circuit Court of Texas cannot receive double payment from the Crimes Victim Compensation Program if they have already received full restitution from a defendant.
It is it's not. No, what?
I just looked it up for you, Corey. That's exactly what it says from
let me read it. Generally, no. The Fifth Circuit Appeals does not allow a victim to receive double payment. It says also there's a distinction between restitution and forfeiture as preventing double recovery. While forfeiture and restitution are distinct remedies, courts are generally hesitant to offset restitution.
The program pays benefits to victims who have filed and won a civil lawsuit for damages or received a settlement from the perpetrator.
Right. So here's the problem. I'm telling you what I know. You guys tell me what you think. That's fine.
Okay, so Corey, let me ask you a question. Hold on, Corey, for a second. Hold on.
What if this is what I think, but I'm just wrong? What if I'm wrong? What if I really believe this, but I'm just wrong? Am I in sin for being wrong? I really believe that what's been paid by settlement offsets whatever is owed in restitution. That's literally what it says. I don't have the actual court. Hold on.
So Corey,
normally,
because help me out, bro, because I'm trying to get some understanding here. If you say that you don't
normally, I would have. Let me finish this point.
Go ahead.
Normally, I would have just cited the court cases. I don't have them here in front of me because, as I said, I was working out. But per Fifth Circuit, and there are a few cases to cite that the courts do not allow, or they don't want double payment. What is double payment? It can only be if there's a criminal and a civil settlement. That's the only way that works out. Yeah, Dan just read, but Dan totally misunderstood what I'm saying.
Okay, so Corey, let me ask you a question. Hold on. Let me ask you a question, Corey. Then is there let me ask a question. So if you're saying that that's the case, then is there anything owed on your behalf by the federal courts?
I don't think so.
No, we're not. I'm not talking about whether or not you think so. Is there a judgment against you?
Yes, the judgment against me. Yes.
Okay. No, bro. Because the only reason I asked is, and I'm just asking, and they may be different, but there was something that was owed on me, right? That Los Angeles County had. Let me finish my point. Let me say this, bro. Let me finish my point. That's why. No. That's why. That's why Saiko keeps going. No. Hold on. Wait a minute. That's why Saiko keeps talking over you because you won't let nobody get their point out.
Facts.
I'm just asking because if there was a judgment done, but it's in limbo, I get that, right? But if there's a judgment against you, it doesn't even matter if you have the paperwork and you're going through the process. Until it's resolved, you still owe those funds. So I just want to know if you're saying, nah, bro, there's no double jeopardy, there's no this, there's no that, I would agree with you. However, all I can go off of, bro, and if I'm wrong, I apologize. All I can go off of is when I look at something and it says money's owed. If money's is owed, until you get that fixed, it's still owed.
Let me ask you a question, X. X. Is it possible there's an explanation?
Of course.
Okay. Why didn't you, because you never did, why didn't anyone ever call and say, hey, Corey, explain this? Why?
I'll be honest with you. Because every time you began to talk about it, it was either a Freudian slip or it was something that was unclear. So listen, hold on, bro. But let me finish and I did call you. We talked, bro. Stop.
About what? You called me and asked me and said something about what I said about being in ministry, and then when I said that you were Joe Biden, that was it. And then you talked about Joe Biden. You never called me about this. And you also said on your live that a dude from a state want to come out and beat you up, and I didn't want to beat you up. You know that, bro. So and I told you, I said, let me know when your plane gets in. I will refund you the ticket.
Excuse me, but I didn't claim to come beat you up. You said it on your live.
Let me say it again. You
can say, wait a minute. It's not a clarification. I'm just saying, I told you that it was no beat up. It was none of that. But you went on your live.
Let me explain to you. Let me explain to you all. Let me just say this one last time, so you all can understand.
Thank you.
I was ordered to pay $2.8 million. Even during sentencing, I said it's not that much. I disagree with that much. Now, the problem is, though, when you plead guilty, you cannot therefore, or I can't say you cannot, but the problem is to try to come back and argue what you owe, because you can say you're guilty, but I'm not guilty of owing 10 million or 30 million. I said I owe, but I don't think, I know it's not 2.8 million. As a matter of fact, if you go back and look, they dropped it down from 8 million down to 7 million, 6 million, 4 million, 3 to 2. There's a reason why they would not budge on that. There's a reason why you guys keep saying it's 64 victims. It's actually not 64. It's 50 named victims. You all keep saying 64. It's actually 50. It's literally on the paperwork that you have. It's 50 victims. There's a reason why they won't drop below 50. Why? Because there's a threshold for the sentencing guidelines. They're not going to budge. In sentencing, I said, could I please get my evidence so that way I can show you who's owed, who's not owed, things like that. There was a guy who literally said that his marriage was destroyed because of me. This guy, he literally came to my office to open an account to hide money from his wife. But I get it. Once you do something wrong like I did and you plead guilty, you're fair game for everybody. But I said I want to make sure that who needs money to get paid back gets their money back. That's why I wanted my evidence. I never saw my evidence, not once. So I couldn't go back. The judge says, well, how can you defend what you're saying? I couldn't. I don't have my evidence. I didn't have access to bank records or any documents. All that was frozen, and only the federal government had it. So I couldn't even defend myself in court on what was owed. I do know, and I said, I know it's not that much. As a matter of fact, at the outset, when they sent out these victim impact statements before the charge, they got back 9 or 11 total. 9 or 11 people total that said that they were out money or anything was wrong. 9 or 11. Well, it goes up to 50. Actually, it was up at one point in time to 100 something. It dropped down. They're not going below 50 for the reasons of sentencing. 50 is a sentencing guideline threshold, and 2.5, 2.6 million is another guideline. They couldn't drop anymore because I would be under. So at this point, I said, wait a second, I got to figure out what I'm going to do. I talked to the people prior to going in. I talked to a few. And one of them contacted their attorney. I told one lady, have your attorney to contact me wherever I'm going to be. I'll do everything I can. I'll let them know what happened, where everything is, and so on and so forth. Whatever assets we have, as far as my firm's concerned, as far as I'm concerned, and other banks, custodian banks and so forth, I'll let you know, and you can get everything back, literally everything back. One guy who is counted as the 50th victim is actually not, because he said, I'm not owed anything. But the federal government said, well, he is owed something, even though on the sentencing transcript, he says, I'm not owed anything. Now, The reason why this is important is because I don't need to be paying back someone who's not owed. And so I said, well, when they came to see me, we had a settlement. That settlement, per the Fifth Circuit, is going to be applied to everyone that is owed. In the meantime, I'm making payments. I can't pay back that 2.8. If they never agree with me, if they said, no, Corey, you still owe it. Okay, I'm not going to ever pay back $2.8 million unless something fortunate happens. I don't have that money. I'll never be, I can't say I'll never be, who knows? But I don't have the capability to pay back all of that money.
Are you making money on the channels that you have monetized?
Yes, I am.
So you're making money that you're making. So the money is actually going to you, right?
Yes, I am. And so right now, the federal government sees every dime that I make, every dime that comes in. If a person were to cash at me money, if they were to send it by Zelle, the federal government sees it. Not Saiko, not anyone else, but me and my wife and the federal government. They see it. They haven't had a problem. So if anyone's thinking that my financial restitution or anything like that has not been taken care of, you don't have to believe me. Me, my wife, God, and the federal government knows.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
I am your host, Pastor Saiko Woods.
Do me a favor, please. Get out of here.